So I wanted to do a video about a recent article that we've published because now we have people coming over with their non-lucrative visas. As we know, people are getting them from the UK and they're coming over and they're encountering the first sort of problems that people encounter when they come over. And to be honest, Spain isn't that used to seeing people, British people with non-lucrative visas coming over. So certainly not in the amount that are coming over at the moment. So, in the extranjerias, you would get the odd one or two a day or even a week turning up with non-lucrative visa. And now Brits are coming over with as many non-lucrative visas they can get their hands on, and the many appointments they get hands on, they're coming over. There's hundreds of people, which is great news, because it means it's working in Edinburgh and Manchester. London, not so much, but it's great news that people are coming over. So, a few things to be aware of when coming over. First thing is, evidently, you've got the 90-day period to get yourself into Spain, and then once you arrive, within 30 days, you have to register with the police. So, it's a good idea for, if you're doing it yourself, to start looking for appointments before you even get into Spain to go register for your TIE card at the extranjeria, the police, as we know, the National Police, Foreigners Office. Or if you've got someone doing it for you, they should be on the hunt now for an appointment. In fact, in some circumstances, we actually start looking for the appointment before people go for their visa appointments, because the visa has been issued within 30 days at the moment, although they do advise 90. At the moment, it's taking around a month, 3 weeks to a month. So some appointments here in Spain are happening, 2 months' time. So it's always good to be on the ball when booking your appointment, to register your residency card, your TIE card, which we refer to as stage 2. Now, coming into the country, make sure you get a stamp on your passport. We've had a few people who managed to get in without a stamp, mainly people who've driven or taken a ferry. But the police are going to want to see when you enter the country, when you go to register for your TIE card. So getting a stamp on your passport is the easiest way to prove that. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. You can take travel documentation, but if you're not proficient in Spanish, again, it's a nightmare trying to qualify an objection from the police, where if you've got a stamp, there's no problem at all. Talking about the police appointment, when you go, it's always a good idea that, again, going back to what I previously said, they're not used to seeing Brits at the moment coming on non-lucrative visas. And the first few that we had go through, we had a couple of instances, especially with the afternoon shift here in Malaga, where they came and I said, no, you've got the wrong paperwork, Chris. You've got the wrong paperwork. I'm like, no, we haven't got the wrong paperwork. It's a visa. It's not withdrawal agreement. It's a visa. It's a British citizen with a visa, same visa you're used to seeing for Americans and everybody else who come to retire. And they're like, oh, right, okay, sorry. So evidently they hadn't looked at it properly. So what we do is we now send our clients, with a note on top of the folder, top of the paperwork, to say what it is. All right. Very advisable to inform them if you go yourself. The visa page, they look as a visa. We're not withdrawal agreement. And if someone's representing you, as I say, get them to write a note. Though normally they would be stood outside if they're not letting you in, or in there with you to qualify any objections. But it's always good just to let them know. Don't treat people like idiots, but it's always good to just have a note there to say why you are specifically at that appointment. Which brings me on to proving your address at the appointment. So if you own a house in Spain and you're using that address in Spain, you use that address to register your visa, and when they registered your visa, they correctly put that address on your file in immigration, then when you go with your visa to register, you shouldn't have any problem with registering at that address. Basically what they'll do, they open up the computer, they look at the address, on the application form. If the two matches, well, that's fine, that's what's going on your TIE card. Now, if they differ, that's where the problem comes. So if you used, for example, a representative and you used their office address, or you use a friend's address in Spain, which you can do for a non-lucrative visa, you just need a correspondence address in Spain. If you had a previously registered address because of an NIE number or something with immigration, when they registered your visa, they didn't update it, which we've had that happen as well. Basically, if you go to that appointment and the police look on the computer and they see the address that's registered on the computer is different to the one that you've got on your application form, they're going to want proof of address. That proof of address comes in the form of a Padron certificate. I'll stick a link at the bottom of this video for you to see how to get one and what to do. Now, this is evidently a problem for people who haven't yet got long-term accommodation sorted out, maybe rental accommodation sorted out. It's not a problem for people who own properties because they can use that proof to register on the Padron. But maybe your intention is to travel for a year and not actually fix in any place. So, it has become a problem because people aren't quite ready or don't have the paperwork in place to get a Padron certificate, but they need to register their residency card within 30 days. So it's something to really bear in mind when you're coming into Spain. How can you get onto the Padron if you think your address is going to be different, where you're going to be registering to the one that they've got on their system? Okay, so that's another top tip. What other top tips we got for the article? So I've forgotten. Registering with the tax office. Yes. Okay. So if you, again, have had any previous interest in Spain, fiscally, i.e. you've bought a house or you've bought a car or you've done anything in Spain which involved paying a tax, then you would be registered with the tax office. So the tax office, they register you with this document called a Model 030. You can do this yourself or you can get a representative to do it for you. And that gives you basically a file at the tax office. You can register as a non-resident, that's normal, and have a non-residence account with them. Then when you get your residency, you switch that account and become a resident at the tax office. We don't do this at Upsticks, but definitely take some advice from an accountant, or we can recommend an accountant that can do that for you. But the problems that we've been having and what we've been seeing is people who are coming over for the first time, absolute newbies, people who've only ever holidayed in Spain, never had any other reason to have an NIE or anything in Spain, and getting their first NIE on their visas, are being asked for their tax office registration to do things like release their worldly goods from customs, buy a vehicle, buy a property, evidently, open a bank account. So all of these things are affected by registering with the tax office, and if you've only got your NIE on your visa in your passport, there's a good chance that you can't register with the tax office until you actually go to your appointment at the police and register as a resident, at which point they'll give you a resguardo, a document. Again, I'll put a link underneath to what that is, which proves that you've registered, it proves what your NIE number is, and you can continue from there. So your timings have to be right to be able to do that, especially if you're planning on coming over and you're going to chill for a month, and you're going for your appointment, and then you can start opening bank accounts and stuff once you've been to your appointment, that's fine. But if you want to come here and hit the ground running and buy a car, etc., then you're going to need that registration, so you've got to be on the ball with your appointment at the police station. So I think that's about it, really. I'm waffling on now. It's 8-minute video already. So it's just a few key points there, and there's going to be some key links at the bottom of this video to things to bear in mind once you've got your visa actually in your hand.